of Bravo topics that we got to run through. Today, we're going to talk all things Real Housewives of Atlanta. If you watched Sunday's episode, you already know what I'm talking about. We've got lots to discuss. We are going to talk about the Britt and Kelly of it all. We're going to talk about the Marcus and Angela of it all. Also, Joe Giudice. Won't that man keep us entertained? Let's just leave it at that. We're going to talk about him. We've got to talk about Tom Sandoval being embarrassing. And then also, speaking of embarrassing, apparently a RHONY lady from the past was banned from SoulCycle for an embarrassing act of behavior. So I'll tell you about that as well. So come sit down. As I always say, as Heather Dubrow once said, everyone come sit down. This is going to be so fun. So I hope you all had a wonderful weekend. Be sure to drop your comments in. I will go back towards the end of this live stream and chat with you and we'll go through all your thoughts, okay? So I hope the weekend was good to you, and let's get started. So up first, we're going to talk about Real Housewives of Atlanta. Let me know, did you watch Sunday night? It was, I watched it twice, okay? Just because I felt like there was a lot going on, a lot that I needed to keep up with. Okay, let's just start with, we'll start with the Kelly and Britt of it all, okay? And we've all established we're not Team Britt around here based off the like not showing up to the reunion and the lawsuit and all that stuff, just because it's like, what a waste of an attempt for casting, you know? However, baby, a read is a read. And Britt was at the top of the book club last week, okay, the Sunday, because she effortlessly tore Kelly down. And not to say that I agree with what Britt said or her choice of insults, but when you look at it from take a step back, Kelly was really upset. Even Cynthia said, she's like, Kelly is on one. She was like yelling. And then you look at Britt, who was cool, calm, and collected, and just throwing out read after read after read. And it was like, you know, it's like, God, why'd you have to be so good at that? You know, we're not supposed to be Team Britt around here, but when you read somebody and get them together like that, I'm trying to not put my name on the fan club list. You know what I mean? So let's talk about the actual reads and what got them to that point, okay? I personally feel like the glam conversation, because if you haven't been watching, Kelly apparently offered up her glam team to help Britt. But now Kelly has told her styling team and all them that she doesn't want them to work with Britt, and Britt found out, okay? Which obviously did not make Britt happy. Now, this conversation started a couple of weeks ago, but I feel like it just like kind of skyrocketed on this episode out of nowhere. Maybe that's just me. But yeah, they're at this event that Phaedra is throwing, and Kelly's basically talking about Britt while Britt's standing there, like not about her in a negative way, but just like their experience of what she's going through with her as a friend. And that's when Britt's like, you know, I'm here and you can speak to me directly if you want to talk about me. And she's like, you're being a little passive aggressive. And Kelly's like, I'm not passive, I'm just aggressive. And she's like, are you aggressive? You a little aggressive? And that's when Kelly said, I'm a wolf. And I was like, womp, like cringe. Wolf. No. We come back and try again. You know what I'm saying? That wasn't the comeback that I needed from Kelly in that moment. But then it just went, as Cynthia said, they took it to hell. That's what Cynthia said on Watch What Happens Live. And that's exactly what they did, because Kelly starts yelling about her roommate, Britt's roommate. She's referring to Britt's husband. And then comes out allegations about pill popping. And I don't know if that was about Britt or if that was about the roommate / husband, about both of them. I don't know if they're both just pill popping roommates, or I don't know. But Kelly's clearly been holding that one in her back pocket for quite some time and said, cards out on the table. And Britt said, baby, I got a royal flush. Because then Britt goes back at her and says, I don't even like to say this, She says, let's talk about those abortions that you had while married. Now, this is where it gets confusing because it's like there's such a fine line on shade and reads where it's like, oh, that was good because you get as close to that line as you can without crossing it. Britt got to the line and face planted right across it. She just went boom, took it too far. Like everyone was like, oh, you didn't have to do that, you know? And this is the thing. Kelly has since said that those allegations, that comment isn't even based in fact, that's not something that she did. But also too, clearly that's something that if Britt knew, it was told to her in confidence, if it were even true. And given the scenarios in which someone might elect to have an abortion while married, and especially with Kelly having talked about how difficult her marriage was and how, you know, her ex was abusive and all this stuff, I don't think it's up to us to talk about what she's doing, you know, with her body in that moment, or to question it. And most certainly, if it's not true, to allege it out of nowhere. So it's like Britt takes 2 steps forward and 18 steps back, you know. But it really is sad because I feel like with a little bit of fine tuning, Britt really could have been a good housewife, but she's just in her head too much. And I also think that there's like what the women accuse her of, and Kelly accused her of as well. She's not that girl. She's not being honest about her life. And another extension of that is that I do feel she's trying to cause rifts and breaks between some of the women on the show, you know? And I'm saying that because whenever she had Porsha and Cynthia over to her house, she is relaying to Porsha this stuff about Shamia, and like Shamia sharing text messages or something that she knew that Porsha's therapist said to her. And relaying that information is one thing. But the way in which you seemed gleeful and eager to upset Porsha about what her friend had said and done reads weird to me. Like she was talking to Porsha and she's like, that's your best friend. Don't you think that that's weird for your best friend to do? Is that something that a best friend does? It's like, okay, calm down. Let Porsha, you know, generate her own thoughts and emotions over here. Like we can all agree that's probably something that a friend shouldn't have done. But it's like, why are you trying to, now, is that something a friend would do? You don't say stuff like that, you know? And instead, if you're there to be a friend and to relay that information in the hopes of helping them, why aren't you offering up some sort of care and advice and saying this is, you know, but you're kind of egging it on and making it worse, you know? So I didn't really, that just felt kind of weird to me and not from a good place, if that makes sense. We've got to talk about Kelly's Williams-Sonoma event. Charles Oakley. Let me tell you what, him and Angela, they'll get you when it comes to their reads. Because even he was talking later, about the restaurant with Kelly. He said, a lot of people own a restaurant and can't cook. Oh, sir, easy now. I mean, what did Kelly do to deserve that, you know? So they're having like a little cook-off at Williams-Sonoma, and here comes Marcus, baby. And you say, who's Marcus? I don't know. Nobody knows. You want to know who does know? Production, because they had to allow him to walk up. And we're going to talk about that in a second. But basically, Marcus walks up to Angela. They're having a group filming event. And Marcus introduces himself and says, I would like to talk to you off camera. Then why'd you come up on camera? And Angela's like, oh, you know, she handled it very well, in my opinion. And she said, okay, Marcus, like, now how do I know you, Marcus? You know, and he said, I'm not sure that you do, but he said that he owns a restaurant and Charles comes to that restaurant. I don't know who in production, producer-wise, is bound and determined to get some sort of cheating, allegation, rumor, storyline on its feet with Charles and Angela this season, but it's like multiple attempts to do it, you know? It's just very, I feel like there's been multiple talks about it, but there's nothing like concrete, You know, they say where there's smoke, there's fire. Well, I'm just seeing a little bit of smoke. The smoke's not billowing. You know, it's like a campfire that it's like they put my gay ass in Boy Scouts and told me to start a fire. Nothing's happening. Nothing. None of the rumors are gaining traction. And it's like, I just feel everybody talks about Charles does this. Charles gets around. Well, we all know what Angela's husband does. Well, then prove it. Otherwise, find something else to talk about, you know? So he comes up and basically says he wants to talk to her and is kind of alleging that he knows something. And I just want to say too, and this was later discussed in the episode, because Kelly says, yeah, we need to get security after what happened. My whole thing is, Bravo, this is not a good look for production. There should always be security of some sort protecting these women when they're out in public filming, giving the status and, you know, level of the show now. Like, everyone knows it. People take it very seriously. And also, no, how did he walk up on camera? Like, there are people around production-wise that are making sure whoever's on camera is getting clearances signed, all that stuff. So to me, he had to have been let on camera. They knew what he was doing, be it a producer, whatever, and they allowed it. And that to me is not okay. Either they allowed it, which is not okay, or he still was able to get to her and have damn near a full conversation prior to security coming up and removing him. Yes, they had security there, but I'm talking, it makes no sense to me how that man was able to get on camera. It does make sense because production had to, that's the only way that it makes sense. Production had to allow him to approach her. And I want to know how that was set up, because how is someone in production, are you having an interview over here with this random man that walked up to the crew and says he got something to tell Angela? And so it doesn't add, something's very weird there to me. And fast forward to the end of the episode, Angela says that her and Charles decided to look into it because they have, quote, people who care about them. And that the people who care about them decided to look into it, in which they rolled up at Marcus's house to talk to him. I don't know if it was at his house, but she said they went to talk to him. Angela, I've never done nothing but tweet good things about you. And Charles, I love y'all. I think you should have been added to Atlanta since day one. You won't ever find me saying nothing mean out here. Nothing mean. I say only nice things. Don't send your friends who care about you after me. You ain't got nothing to worry about. Promise. Okay. He alleges, though, Marcus alleged to the friends that care about them that he was paid to do that. And to which Kelly says, well, I wonder who paid him. Probably the ones that weren't there. And Britt wasn't there. So I guess Kelly's kind of alleging that maybe Britt had something to do with this. And again, to me, there being a direct tie-in from someone in the cast makes the most sense that production would allow him on camera to talk. And I'm like, was he even mic'd? Because you could hear him quite well too. You know what I'm saying? So I just don't know really how I feel about all that. I love the drama and the mess of it all. I don't like what feels like yet another attempt at being a low-hanging production grab and production move. You know, it's like, also, what do they got to, I mean, if there's something out there, find it. Again, it's just, it's getting tiring, you know, but he said he was paid, and he didn't say who, but I know that this is obviously going to be discussed at the reunion, which we will get the trailer for next week, I believe, because it's the finale. So very curious to see how this all plays out. And I'm hoping that Charles was at the reunion, because I want to know how he feels about this. Like, they're coming after him, you know? And speaking of the reunion, Cynthia recently was on her podcast and said that, I think it was her that got the news first that Britt wasn't going to be there. Like, the producers had her go to Britt's room to talk to her, and then she saw Britt wasn't there. And Cynthia said that she feels Porsha was like the hero / MVP of the reunion in regards to performance and who did the best. So curious to know what y'all think about that, because while she said that, Kelly was also interviewed by Bryce, and over at Entertainment Tonight, and she says that she thinks the reunion performance that was the greatest was from Drew. Into the Couch Drew. And she said that that's because she left nothing unsaid. She said that there was not a second that Drew was silent the entire time that she was there, and that she talked about absolutely everything and left nothing unsaid. So it's very interesting to see two people have different takes from a very recent reunion as to who they think was like the most, most successful as far as getting their story out and maybe, I don't know, coming out the champion. Because now I'm more, so if Porsha came out strong, does that mean Shamia didn't? Is it her versus Shamia? Is it, I really don't know. Who is she going strong against? Who is she proving wrong? Because I feel like in order for a housewife to come out strong, they have to kind of defeat allegations and rumors and drama being directed at them by someone else, So buckle up, because it seems it's about time to put our peaches up for a couple of weeks, y'all, because next week is the finale and then it's reunion time. So get excited. We're going to move on now to Joe Giudice. What a man. He has given us laughs. He's given us frustration. And now he's given us yoga. If you look at his Instagram, he says that he wants you to follow him on TikTok. His new TikTok, Joe Giudice Live, he says, because he's going to be going live over there and doing workouts. And he just gave you a little glimpse into what you could expect from Joe Giudice Live. I don't even know how to describe it, to be quite honest with you. I don't know that those are yoga moves or taught in Teresa's yoga classes. Or maybe he's just working out. I'm the one that put the yoga name on it. I just didn't know what else to say. It's either yoga or practicing for very, very active intercourse. Like tired just watching it, active intercourse. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, saying all that to say, God bless Joe Giudice. God bless his decision to remain a content creator for our entertainment. We really do appreciate it, Joe. Thank you very much. Now, moving on to Tom Sandoval, who was on America's Got Talent recently doing an audition. Like, I don't know if this was just like a stupid produced thing, like they do for American Idol, where they bring in like the singers of the kids of famous singers and act like no one knows who they are. You know what I'm saying? But basically, I'm only bringing this up not to talk about his performance or whatever, but for me, if I'm in a public relationship that goes bad and I'm the person everybody hates and everybody loves my ex, I'm going to be careful about my decisions for a long time, because you were already the bad guy in this breakup, and now you are out here looking like an American Idol season 1 audition that people laughed at, while your ex, who you had the most public breakup in the world with, is literally the face and host of the largest reality program on the globe, Love Island. Now, I'm all for Tom going after his singer dreams, like for real. Good for you, Tom. And maybe this is the shallow side of me showing that this is insane, that I would even limit myself and my decisions as to what I could do as to not be compared to my ex publicly. But you wouldn't see me on TV the whole time that she was. You're asking for comparisons. You are begging Simon Cowell for attention while he wants nothing to do other than go on a smoke break and have a little bite of lunch. And your ex-girl, is in Fiji collecting probably 6-7 figure paychecks for Peacock. And you're allowing that comparison to happen. I would sooner die over my dead body. It ain't, nope. And something else that I wouldn't allow to happen over my dead body is publicly being banned from somewhere, because how embarrassing. And that is what is being alleged by Jess Rothschild in an upcoming episode of Cult of Body and Soul, which is a podcast, I believe, about SoulCycle, I guess. And basically, though, RHONY comes into play, because in the upcoming episode, they say there was a former New York City Real Housewife that was banned from SoulCycle's East 63rd Street location. She was talking so loudly throughout an entire class to the point it was disruptive, and was even making out with the boyfriend in the front row. We are very limited as to who this could be, but I think we can figure it out. It's either Ramona, Sonia. It's probably just Ramona or Sonia. loud and making out. I can see the making out maybe with Lou. I don't see her being loud. I see Sonia being loud and making out with literally the first person on the bike next to her, whether they wanted it or not. I don't know that Ramona would have even lasted past one SoulCycle class to not be banned. So I don't think that this was her. They probably ain't even letting Ramona through the door of SoulCycle, and rightfully so. Now, who wants to hear her say, well, whenever you're trying to ride and get a workout in? You know what I'm saying? So I pray that it comes out who this was. And maybe it wasn't an old RHONY. Maybe it's a new one. But I doubt it. It's got to be who do you think it is? It's got to be Ramona or Sonia, right? It's got to be. I don't know. So we'll see. Hopefully it comes out. And going to wrap up this week just with a laugh because we all need it. And nobody makes me laugh more than my girl, Vicki Gumbelson. And if you didn't see Instagram yesterday, let me tell y'all what. There's not a day that goes by that something she doesn't say or do something that I'm just like, for the love of God, I don't know whether to laugh or go help. You know, Vicky's boyfriend, Michael, his daughter got married Saturday. It was a whole day thing. And Vicki was there and obviously, you know, was having a great time and she looked beautiful. And she sent me pictures and was showing me and stuff. And I was like, awesome. And then the next day she sends me the picture again. And she goes, oh my God, I just realized she had on the wrong earrings. She had 2 different earrings on it each ear. So obviously she's in a ton of the professional photos as like family and all this stuff. And in every photo, she's going to be wearing two different earrings. And no one told her. No one told her it was wrong. Apparently, like her glam girl saw it and said she thought Vicki was trying to start a trend. And Vicki's like, no, what are you talking about? I wasn't trying to start a trend. Oh my gosh. So if you just need a good laugh, it's just Vicki very much being Vicki, you know, and that is what we love her for. So I hope that gives y'all a little bit of a laugh the way that it did me because I was dying. All right, let's go back and look and see what some of your comments are. KM, I am following Joe now because of those moves. Let's see him, Joe. Listen, it's going to be, we need Joe Gorga Fitness in installments on all over the country. Joe might not be able to come to the country. Does that mean he can't have a business here? I don't think so. Start it, Joe. Let's get it going. Hi, Steve. How are you? Thank you for joining us today. Let's see. How did a stylist or makeup artist not tell her? I don't know. I don't know. Now, and I sent it to my best friend, and my best friend sent it to her friend who she knows loves Housewives, and she was like, oh, I saw that yesterday. From now on, if you see Vicki dropping the ball or thinking something, and you can't, tell me. I will tell her. If you can't get to her, tell me. I will get to her, you know? So, did I say Joe Gorga? I'm sorry. I never want to say that name again. I'm just kidding. Whoopsies. All right. Well, thank y'all so much for joining us today. If you're in DC, Chicago, Cincinnati, I am coming this weekend with Teresa. We have 3 events, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. DC Friday, Cincinnati Saturday, Chicago Sunday. Would love to see y'all. Tickets are in Teresa's bio on her Instagram right now. I'll have the link up on my story as well. And yeah, love and grateful to always start my week with y'all and to come here and chat about the bravo-ness of it all. And hopefully we'll have a lot of crazy chaos to discuss when I see you here right back again in 2 days, Wednesday at 3 p.m. So hope you all have a good day. Besos.